Alright guys, so today we're starting at 3, which is factoring quadratics. Okay. I don't know if you guys have done factoring in the past. You may have seen it in Algebra 1, depending on who your teacher was, but it's pretty common that you did not. Okay. So we're going to go through factoring. We're going to start with our GCF, which I know you've heard of that term before. GCF and GCD. So today we will find the greatest common factor. We will also distribute. Have you guys heard of FOIL? No? Some of you? Okay. So I'm not going to make you write the definition for this because we're going to go through it. But it says, what is a factor? It is a monomial or a binomial that is a part of an expression when pulled apart. And what is a GCF? It is a number that is the greatest that two or more terms have in common, and it can be evenly divided by that term. The reason why I'm not going to make you write that down is because I'm not going to quiz you on the definition. I just need you to be able to recognize it and know how to do it when you see it. So let's factor out our GCF. So first we find the GCF, and then we're going to factor out, meaning divide the GCF from each term. If you guys look at number 1, you see that my numbers are 49 and my numbers are 7. You guys see that? Okay, so what is in common between 49 and 7? Okay, 7. So we're going to find a way to do this. Everyone grab your calculator. We're going to do it both ways. Alright, you have your calculators? We'll do it with this way and with Desmos. Okay? So if you have your computer, you can get it out and just put it beside you. Desmos makes it a lot easier, or you can keep doing it in your calculator. So, first I'm going to show you the calculator way. Let's say that we have our number 1, which is 49 and 7, and I can't figure out what it's going to be. I'm going to hit the word math, that's right below alpha. From math, you go over to number. You guys see number 9 that says GCD? Hit number 9, or you can scroll down, either way. And then we're going to type in our numbers. My number was 49, comma, which is above the 7, and then 7. And then close it out and hit enter. Did everyone get 7? Yeah. Alright, Saida, what'd you do? Okay, so hit math on your calculator. You're going to go math. You're going to scroll over the number. Hit number 9. You see GCD? Now type 49, comma, 7. And if you hit enter, it comes up. Got it? Okay, so that's how we do it in our calculators. Now let's look at Desmos. In Desmos, it's super easy. All you have to do is remember GCD. So for Desmos, we're going to type in GCD, parentheses, and my numbers were what? 49 and 7. You guys see how it just pops up right there? Your GCD is 7. Okay? So especially when we have like 3 numbers, if we have 3 numbers and our calculator is very, very difficult, I would always use Desmos. Okay? So for the rest of the time, just keep Desmos up, or you can keep practicing with your calculator. That's okay. So I'm going to write down 7, and I like to put it over both, or under both. We also have to look at if I have a common letter in each one. I have the letter A with 49, but does the number 7 have a letter? No. No, so my GCF is just going to be 7. Okay, that's part one. I'm going to write down my GCF on the outside, parentheses, because now I'm going to divide. What's 49 divided by 7? 7. My A just stays. And then what's negative 7 divided by 7?
0.
No, 1. Negative 1. So when they say take out the GCF and divide, that's what we did. My GCF was 7. Once I divided out my GCF, I'm left with 7A minus 1. Any questions there? All right, the tricky part is when we get to higher numbers. Let's look at number 2. I have 18 and I have 30. Don't worry about putting the negative to 30. So if I do Desmos, because that's just easier, I type in GCD, and I was what, 18 and 30? You guys get 6? All right, good. So that tells me that my answer here is 6. But I also have letters. You guys see that? So I have G to the second and I have G. We always take the lower exponent. So on my G right here, there's no number, but I can imagine it's 1. So my GCF is just going to be G. The GCF with letter G's would just be 1G. What that means is that if I have 2 G's in the first part, 1 G in the second, if I want to find the common factor, it's just 1 G, 1 root. Same for the second one. I have H, and then I have 2 H's. How many groups are in common? Just 1 root. So my GCF is 6GH. So I'm also going to write that underneath, 6GH. Write that down, 6GH. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to rewrite my GCF, and then I'm going to divide. What is 18 divided by 6? 2. Careful. 16 divided by 6, or 18 divided by 6 is 3. All right, so that's gone. What about G to the second divided by just 1G? There's how many G's left over? 1G left over. H divided by H, those disappear, right? Then I have negative 30 divided by 6. What does that mean? Good, negative 5. And then I have basically G over G. That cancels out. And then H to the second divided by H. I'm left with how many H's? 1H. And I'm not sure if you guys remember that from Algebra 1. When we're dividing exponents, we subtract them. So if I had 2 H's on top, 1 H on the bottom, it cancels out, I'm left with just 1 H. We're also going to skip around, so I'm not going to do all of the long ones. So let's look at number 3. What's my GCF for number 3? Just 3. There's no letters, there's nothing else with it. Okay, so I want you guys to now divide. Don't forget your GCF always goes on the outside. 3A divided by 3, I'm left with just A. And then negative 9 divided by 3 is what? 3. Negative 3, right? Don't forget that sign. Alright, while we're waiting, I want you guys to go ahead and do number 5. Find your GCF and then divide. first find the GCF of your numbers instead of your letters.
Is it possible to put 3 commas, 2 commas?
Hmm?
Or you're 4.
Oh yeah, we will do 4 actually after this. Let's do number 5 and we'll go back up and do number 4. Let's wait, what did you get for your GCF, number 5? 3, and what about for your letters? Okay, so the 12 has DE and the 15 just has D. So my GCF will have 3D. I cannot write that E because the 15 does not have E. Do you guys see that? Okay, so 12 and 15, my GCF is 3, and then both pieces have D, so I wrote down D, and then E is by itself, that's not included. It's not in common with both pieces. I have 3D if I divide, my GCF goes on the outside, and I'm left with 4. The D on top and D on bottom, they cancel out. I'm left with E minus 5.
Then how come there's an E?
And your GCF? Because each piece has D with it. Alright, I want you guys to try to figure out what is the GCF of number 4. In the meantime, I'm going to recalibrate my board. So I'm doing my GCF of number 4. We have 40, 60, and 20. So GCD of 40, comma, 60, comma, 20. Huh? I didn't get an error. I got 20. Okay, if you try to do the GCF in your calculator by 3 numbers, it does not work the same way. I can show you how to do it, but it's not the same way. It's not as easy as in Desmos. In Desmos, you can just type in GCD of 40, 60, 20, and it should tell you 20. So I know my GCF is at least 20. So we always, when we're looking at our letters, we always take the lowest exponent. So I have J to the 3rd, J to the 2nd, and then plain J to the 1st. Which one's the lowest? Just plain J to the 1st. If you want to write that one exponent, you can, but you don't have to. Then I have K to the 3rd, K to the 4th, and K to the 5th. Which one's the lowest? K to the 3rd. Now remember, if the first 2 expressions had K and the last one did not, then it cannot be in your GCF. It only works if it's in all of them. So my GCF here, and I'm going to make it really big, 20 JK over 3. I normally just split it up, but in this case. All right, 40 divided by 20 gives me what? 2. Be careful, divide it. Then I have J to the 3rd divided by J to the 1st. If I had 3 J's on top and 1 on the bottom, there's how many left over? 2, right? J to the 2nd. I have K to the 3rd divided by K to the 3rd. Those just cancel out. So now I can move on to the middle term. Negative 60 divided by 20. You get negative 3. J to the 2nd divided by J. There's how many left over? 1. Just 1 J. And then k to the fourth divided by k to the third. There's how many left over? 1. Positive 20 divided by 20 is just positive 1. J divided by j, those cancel out, they're the exact same. K to the fifth divided by k to the third, there's how many left over?
2.
There's 2. Now granted, those are a little bit harder because they're longer, that takes more attention to detail. Especially with all these letters. But at least you guys see how GCF works. Now we're going to turn to foil. On the second page of your notes are basically directions that we just did. So it shows you how to find your GCF in your calculator, math, over the number, select number 9, and it shows you if you're finding the GCF of 2 numbers, you type in GCF of number, enter. If there's 3 numbers, you have to do it this weird way, like GCF number, comma, GCF number, which is what I like to avoid. If you have 3 numbers, use GCF or use Desmos. Alright, Desmos is your friend for GCF. Okay, I will use it for everything. Alright, so now we're going to FOIL and double distribute. And we're going to skip around because then you're going to have some problems to do on your own. So we're going to do, I'm going to zigzag, I think. Yeah. Alright, let's start with number 7. It says FOIL and double distribute because FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. Okay, that's what we use if we have 2 factors that we're going to multiply together. We also use the word double distribute because that's literally all we're doing. We're double distributing. So let's do some examples. Here I'm just multiplying. It's just a regular distribution. What's 4 times x?
4x.
What's 4 times negative 2? Negative 8. That's your answer. Alright, let's take a look at number 10. Okay, let's skip around a little bit. The ones that we're skipping are ones you'll do on your own. Alright, look at number 10. It says negative right here, but what is that really? A negative what? A negative 1. So that's basically negative 1. That's what I'm distributing. What's negative 1 times x squared? Guys, negative 1 times x squared? Just negative 1x squared? You can write the 1 or you can leave it. You don't have to have it. What's negative 1 times 7x? Huh? Negative 7. Just don't forget your x. And what about negative 1 times negative 10? Positive 10. And that's all I have to do. I cannot combine like terms there. There's nothing else I can do, so that's my answer when I distribute negative 1. If you guys notice, all the signs just flipped. That's all we did. The numbers are the same, our signs just changed. All right, let's get number 11. On number 11, I'm going to distribute 8e times 3e squared. So first, let's do our numbers. What's 8 times 3? 24. And then what is E times E squared? Mhm. Well, you're multiplying them. Huh? Yes. So we have E cubed. And then 8E times positive E is going to give us 8E. There's how many E's now? 2. And then 8E times negative 8. What's 8 times 8? Negative 8. Negative 64, and I still have that 1E. What you need to do is you need to be asking yourself, how many E's do I now have? Any questions on 7, 10, or 11? Okay, we're going to do 13 and 14 together. On 13, this is where we start foiling, okay? Foil means first, outer, inner, last, or you can just double distribute. If we double distribute or do foil, this C is going to be multiplied to C. Do you guys see that? Okay, first to first. So what's C squared, or what's C times C? C squared, good. And now my outer numbers would be C times positive 7. What's 7 times C?
7C.
7C. All right, so now I've already distributed my C to everything. Now I'm going to distribute my 1 to everything. What is 1 times C? And what's 1 times 7? All right, we just double distributed, or we foiled. I'm not done because I have not combined all like terms. What are my like terms here? Yeah, my 7C and 1C. What's 7C plus 1C?
7C squared.
Be careful, we're just adding, we're not multiplying anymore, okay? We're just adding. So it's going to be 8C. Guys, that's the most common mistake, is that you guys forget when to add and when to multiply. Here, 7C plus 1C, like terms, 8C. And then my positive 7 can come right down. All right, I'm going to do 14 with you. So I have 3x plus 2 times x minus 4. Joanna, this 3x is going to get multiplied to what? Well, so 3x times x gives us what? 3x squared. And what about 3x times negative 4? Negative 12x. All right, so now my positive 3x went to everything, and I'm going to multiply the bottom. 2 times x, and 2 times negative 4. Negative 8. All right, I have like terms here. So I have 3x squared is by itself. What is negative 12x plus 2x? Be careful, it's a negative. Negative 10x. My negative 8 just comes straight down. All right, so we're going to do number 15 together. All right, do you guys see how there's basically 3 parts with number 15, right? There's S, there's 2S plus 3, and then 3S plus 2. They basically want us to multiply everything together. So, let's start with the first one. I'm just going to act like this last guy here doesn't even exist. What's s times 2s? 2s squared. And then s times 3 plus 3s. All right, that's a new factor. All right, I just distributed that. I'm going to rewrite my second factor, which was this guy, 3s plus 2, because now I can multiply them both together. All right, I combined the first two. Now I'm going to multiply my first two together times my last one. S2 squared times 3s can give me what? What's 2 times 3? 6, and then how many s's do I have? S cubed, right? That's 2 plus 1 gives me 3. And then I have 2s squared plus 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and my s squared stays. If we distribute the bottom, 3s times 3s gives me what? 9s squared. And then 3s times 2 gives me 6, and my letters are just s. Before I write my final answer, I need to combine all like terms. Is there anything to combine with 6x to the third? No. What about 4s squared and 9s squared? I can combine those, right? Those are like terms. What's 4 plus 9? So we have 13, and we keep our variable, s squared. There's nothing to combine with 6s, so I leave it as it is. What you have to be careful about is that when you're multiplying, you add your exponents. When you're adding like terms, it just stays the same. All right, I'm going to show you guys how I want to do number 16. Once again, I'm going to double distribute. So x times x squared gives me how many x's?
3x.
Okay, just be careful that you're writing x cubed, not 3x, right? Did you write x cubed?
Oh, x to 3.
Yeah. And then I have x times 3x, which gives me how many x's? 3x squared. Because we're just multiplying 1x times 3x, so that's 3x squared. And then x times 5, 5x. Good. All right, so that's the first, my first x is distributed. Now I have 1 times x squared, which would be what? 1x squared. If you guys want to write all this out on one line, you can. I like to double deck mine so I can add it better. So I'm just putting the second distribution on the second row. And then 1 times 3x gives me positive 3x. And 1 times 5. What's 1 times 5 guys? 5. All right, so now that I have this, I'm going to combine like terms. Can I combine anything with x squared right, or x cubed? No, let's bring it right down. 3x squared plus 1x squared is 4x squared. 5x plus 3x is what? 8x. And then my positive 5 just comes straight down. That's all you have to do. That's your answer. I just did the same thing that we were doing over here. It's just now we had 3 numbers in the big one. You see that? So I had to distribute my x to all the numbers and then distribute the y to all the numbers. Instead of just putting it all in one line that's super long, I just stacked it differently. I put the x squares together, the x's together, the number would by itself. I want you guys to, we're not going to do number 18. But let's look at number 17. You guys can do this on your own, but I'm going to start you off. The dimensions of a rectangle. So as soon as I read that, I'm drawing myself a picture. Because I love a picture. The dimensions of the rectangle are x plus 3 and x plus 2. Write an expression in standard form representing the area of the rectangle. What you guys are going to do, you're going to find the area, but in order to do that, you need to multiply your length times your width. Well, your length is x plus 3, and your width is x plus 2. I want you to double distribute, combine like terms, and then get your answer. So I'm going to give you guys 10 minutes. You're doing all the ones we didn't do. So you're doing number 8, number 9. Did we do 11? Yeah, so you guys had 8, 9, 12. And then on the back you have 17. All right? Take 10 minutes and then we'll go over them. All right, number 8. If I double distribute 6GH to 3G, what do I get? 18 is how many G's? Squared H, right? And then 6GH times negative 5H. Negative 30. GH squared, perfect. We don't have that, write down the right answer. Any questions on that one? Number 9. What do we do for this one? Negative 3x times x gave me what? Negative what? 3x squared. And then negative 3 times negative 5? Positive 15. What's our variable? X. Number 12 is on the board. When it says f minus 6 squared, that does not mean you distribute the 2. We will never do that. What that means is we have f minus 6 times f minus 6. Squared means that we just have it twice. That's like 5 squared is 5 times 5. So f times f gives you what? We have f squared, f times negative 6, negative 6f. Negative 6 times f again is negative 6f. And then negative 6 times negative 6, positive 36. All right, all we have to do here is combine my like terms. Which ones are like terms? So in the middle, okay, Bond is telling us that we have negative 6f minus 6f, which is negative 12f. It's not squared, it's negative 12f. And then, was it plus? We're subtracting. Negative 6 times negative 6 gives me negative 12. You're thinking about multiplying, okay? Which is a common error. All right, any questions about any of these answers on the first page? Did you not have any of these?
It did, I think this one now.
Okay. All right, let's finish up on number 17. If I distribute x times x gives me what? X squared. X times 2. 2x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 2 is 6. Now you gotta switch gears. We're gonna combine like terms. There's nothing to combine with x squared. What's 2x plus 3x? 5x. Good. It's not 6x squared. Do not multiply. My positive 6 just comes straight down to. Any questions on GCF or Foil? Alright, your homework is day 1. I will check it on Tuesday. Wait, what's today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Thursday. Sorry, I know, check on Tuesday, give you guys an extra day. I don't want to go backwards or too